I'm coming to you from an undisclosed location, as I have once before, with an updated dream from last night that was pretty bizarre. Don't mind the microwave and the coffee maker and the cleaning products and the stuff on the shelf. Undisclosed location. Undisclosed location. Look into the camera, Rob. So I had a dream that seemed to be about, again, the nature of reality, the play-like nature of our lives. I had watched an episode, the newest episode of the TV show Better Call Saul last night, which, if you watched the show, was devastating. It was so emotional and such a long time coming as far as what the characters seemed to be inevitably headed towards, but you were hoping they weren't, and then they just were. And maybe that had me thinking about fate and the way our lives play out, much like TV shows, in many ways, that we are actors on a stage, which is how some psychics and spiritualists describe life, as kind of a beautiful illusion or dream, or even a play or a movie. And so those symbols appeared in my dream. What happened was, in the dream, it occurred to me, I didn't feel old in the dream, but it seemed like life was winding down. And I don't know if that means all life, and I don't want to, I know that will cause some people to worry, like apocalypse, but that's not how it felt. It just felt like in the little reality I was in the dream, that life was coming to a kind of close and that people were departing from the planet. But it didn't seem like they were dying. It's almost like they were, sorry, I'm listening for outside the door, like they were slowly disappearing. So, which was strange too. So there was a mysterious aspect to it, and I was feeling some lonesomeness because it seemed like my circle of acquaintances and friends was shrinking, as if I was in a later stage of life and people were beginning to leave around me, and that I would be more, kind of in my own mind and less with people that I knew or who knew me well. And so there was some sadness with that. But then there was also connectivity with the people who were still around, which was interesting to me because even as some people, like there was a series of flights, there's always airplanes in my dreams, and I think a lot of people's dreams, but there were a series of flights, and over the course of several flights that I was on, more people seemed to be not proceeding to the next flight in the schedule. It's like they got off at their stop and then that was it. Then we would never see them again, as they departed for a new adventure, perhaps even a new existence, somewhere completely different. And in the middle of the dream, I was on a plane with some people I didn't really seem to know, but then I became friendly with two other, I think they were men, youngish men on the plane, and we ended up, there were other people on the plane that I didn't really view, but I just knew that we were not totally alone, but it wasn't a really full plane. But the young men started to sing like a song about faith and connectivity and coming together and renewal. And once they sang, I appeared to know the words too, even though I didn't really know them in advance. And the song seemed to resonate with other people on the plane, even though we were all strangers to each other. So I found that very interesting. And then when we apparently reached our destination, then we were in a movie theater with a bunch of other people. But again, not a super crowded movie theater, but crowded enough, and I was near the same men that I had been with on the plane. And in my dreams, a lot of times there are movie theaters too, and it seems to me to reinforce this idea I think of his life as like a stage play, as like life is like a movie or Truman Show, if you prefer. That we are the actors on the stage, and we are also the observers of the actors on the stage. It's like being the it's like being God and the participant at the same time. We have the omniscient point of view of God, which is kind of like what you are when you watch TV. You're kind of God watching the actors play out on stage, and then you're also in the play, which might be a reminder of not to take any of it too seriously, even though it gets very serious sometimes, especially in these very troubled times, because it is all a play, and none of us, no one gets out of this world alive. I mean, that's a Hank Williams song that I always thought was funny. I'll never get out of this world alive, because it's a truism, but the way he presents it is so funny, you know. No matter how I struggle and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive. But it's not presented mournfully. It's presented, I don't know exactly joyfully, but certainly with humor. And maybe that's part of what this was all about, too. So I'm in the movie theater with these people, but the movie doesn't start. Instead, they're cranking this party music over the sound system. And being a musician, I'm complaining that even though I like the music, that the sound system in the theater isn't really very good, and not really equipped to, like, for a dance party that seemed to be erupting there. But people were still up and dancing in the theater. And so in some sense, this movie, that time, the movie that we may have been there to see, or not, it didn't get shown. We were just dancing and partying instead. So maybe, we were the movie. We thought we were watching the play, but we were the movie itself. We were the play itself. So I don't know. It seemed to just sort of resonate. That dream really resonated, and when I woke up, I didn't fully know what to make of it, and articulating it to you in this way is helping me to kind of sort it and think about it. But it was interesting that the young men who I didn't know and who I felt somewhat, like I felt really alone on the plane, because it seemed like a lot of people, like I said, who knew me well were not there. But then, yet, in the midst of essentially strangers and a diminishing population and people kind of departing the world, yet there were still new friends to be made. There were still good people to be found, people who believed in connectivity and a better future. And so even though I felt some sadness and there was a maudlin quality to the dream, yet there was still connection. So maybe that's part of what I'm supposed to get out of it. So definitely would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Yep, planes and movie theaters, they appear very often in my dreams, and I think other people's too, as I said. Okay, I must depart from this undisclosed location and go back to another undisclosed location, and talk to you soon. Bye.